right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Robert Townsend. Right now, a Hazelwood bus driver is behind bars after allegedly fighting two students. New tonight, 5 on Your Side's Annie Krall has the latest details from prosecutors and police.
A physical altercation on a Hazelwood District school bus. That's what Florissant police were called to on Friday afternoon in the area of Highway 67 and Patterson Road. But it wasn't between two students. Police say it involved the bus driver. The St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney's Office has now charged 51-year-old Lamar Murray with 2 counts of endangering the welfare of a child. When police initially arrived on scene, they couldn't find the bus or anyone directly involved with the reported incident. However, not long after, officers found a group who had exited a bus in the area. They told police about an altercation where victims and witnesses said the bus driver physically assaulted minors. While officers were investigating, 2 male juvenile victims went to the Florissant Police Department with their parents to file a police report. But the 2 juvenile victims refused medical treatment. Officers then went to a bus garage where they located and arrested the St. Louis man. In a statement on Saturday, the Florissant Police Department said it, quote, remains committed to the safety and well-being of all children in our community. We thank the public for their concern, trust, and continued support. 5 on Your Side was contacted by a family member of one of the students who said they were, quote, attacked on the bus, but they are waiting to speak with legal counsel before coming forward with more information. Murray is currently being held at the St. Louis County Jail on a $75,000 bond. Annie Krall, 5 on Your Side.
Now, within the last few minutes, Hazelwood School District responding to our request for comment. The district says the driver's behavior was, quote, outrageous and unacceptable. They also said they would provide support to students who witnessed that fight. Right now, more than 30 people are in the hospital after a shuttle bus crashed near Herman. The Missouri State Highway Patrol says it happened this morning just before 11 on Missouri Route 100 after the driver struck a ditch. The Herman Area Volunteer Fire Department released this image showing just some of the 10 ambulances that responded to the scene. The department says 41 people were on the bus. MSHP reports 32 of them were taken to area hospitals with injuries ranging in severity from minor to serious. MSHP also says they are still investigating this crash. Well, you're taking a live look right now at Busch Stadium. Today's Cardinals game got washed out by a steady stream of rain. Meteorologist Gary Frank is here with if we can expect some those rainy conditions for tomorrow's doubleheader. What do you say, Gary?
Yeah, I think we're still going to see rain tomorrow. It's just not going to be the same scope that today. It was widespread, kind of steady rain throughout the day, especially afternoon for a lot of us. And you'll still see that here as we look outside. Now, the edge of this rain, you can see how it really picked up by 1 or 2 o'clock, and it's really spinning our way. And that's why I want to zoom in right now. We're still seeing the axis of that rain into the Metro East specifically has really picked up in intensity from Nashville, Oakville, Carlisle, Breeze, Bartelso, Oakdale, Nashville. I mean, it's picked up pretty well from New Athens as well. Even as we get to the city, a steady stream of rain continues. But from Breeze to Carlisle, you'll see that half-inch per hour rainfall rate continue. The edge of this really is in Washington, Cottleville, and Union along 44. And what we're going to see overnight is our temperatures will eventually fall into the 40s, even some spots already in the 40s. It's hard to believe. This is May. We're talking about 40s here. But we'll see that rain taper off gradually after 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Main story the next few days as the rain continues through midnight with drizzle on Sunday. It is mostly gone by Monday. We'll track the back edge of that and why we expect more rain chances as we try to find one day to mow over the next 7 to 10 days.
Tonight, police are investigating a deadly crash in Monroe County, Illinois. Sheriff deputies say it happened around 1:30 this morning on Bluff Road, not far from Columbia. Several bystanders rushed to the wrecked car to help 2 people inside. A 46-year-old woman died at the scene. Paramedics took the 53-year-old driver to a hospital in critical condition. Also developing tonight, St. Louis police made another big bust in its crackdown on city dirt bikers. Police seized 4 motorcycles after spotting the drivers violating multiple traffic lights and signs around the city. The bikes were found unoccupied. Now, this comes weeks after police spotted a group of more than 100 dirt bikers recklessly driving in St. Louis. 3 men now face charges in that case. Tonight, the community is coming together to help a St. Charles family who lost everything in a house fire several weeks ago. The fire left several townhomes ruined and many families displaced. 5 on your side's Mercedes McKay shows us how the people of St. Charles are helping their neighbors in need.
Over 2 weeks later, this is what's left of the house that went up in flames on April 18th, and now the community is coming together.
I think that's one of the most beautiful things. You see that community, you know, all ships rise with the tide sort of mentality here.
It's a mindset Jody Devonshire's business, Bike Stop Cafe, was built around.
We've been around for 15 years, and we cater to all walks of life here in St. Charles.
Right along the city's historic Main Street and the Katy Trail, helping out their neighbors is just what they do.
We live and work here. Our kids go to school with people here. You know, we live right in the same building as the cafe, so we intimately know people in our community.
Just 10 minutes away from her shop on April 18th, this was the scene along Meyer Drive, as Ring camera footage caught video of a house going up in flames, the house of Devonshire's granddaughter's best friend.
It was just engulfed. They all got out alive, but they lost everything. So my granddaughters have been wanting to do something special for them to help them get into a new place.
That's why Bike Stop Cafe held a fundraiser Saturday, with 20% of the proceeds going to the family. But the help doesn't stop there. They're also collecting donations that anyone can drop off at the cafe.
They certainly could use household items, things that you wouldn't normally think of, like cleaning supplies and pantry food items, things like that.
Devonshire says while the family is still displaced, they're feeling optimistic thanks to their neighbors' assistance as they hope to move in to a new home shortly.
They feel so supported and loved by their community. I think they know they're going to be okay because the most important thing, they got out alive.
In St. Charles, Mercedes McKay, 5 on your side.
The cause of that fire is still under investigation. We have the link to donate directly to the family in this story on KSDK.com. Just look under the As Seen on TV section. Today, local workers and lawmakers voiced their support for Missouri's new paid sick leave policy. Nearly 58% of Missouri voters approved Prop A back in November. It requires employers to provide paid sick leave to employees and raises the state's minimum wage to $15. Right now, Missouri Republicans are working to strike down the sick leave part of Prop A. Today at a rally in DeBoliver Place, local Democratic lawmakers said they will keep fighting for the will of the voters.
We have to let the Missouri legislature know that they are responsible to the people, that they serve the people, not themselves.
The Senate has until May 16th to challenge Prop A. Tonight, a staple in the Hill neighborhood closed its doors after 75 years. John Viviano and Sons Grocers first opened back in 1950 on Shaw Avenue. The store has stayed in the Viviano family since then, with the original owner's grandsons now running the business. The grocery store's location is now up for sale. No word yet if anyone has bought the building. Well, dozens of people lined up to be some of the first visitors back inside the old courthouse. Today, the St. Louis landmark opened its doors again after 5 years of extensive renovations. The revamped exhibits feature a more in-depth look at the famous Dred Scott case, as well as lessons about the courthouse's architecture and African-American culture in St. Louis. Visitors say the exhibits open up a whole new look at history.
I think coming today has a whole new meaning. I understand more about society and how society works, the pain and the stories of individual people who have come through here and sat in some of these courtrooms fighting cases for freedom.
The old courthouse is now open every day from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Deal breaker, America works to strike a trade deal with China, the latest development signaling a new hope in the trade war. Before student loan repayments even start, new questions arise.
Kind of at the whim of our federal government right now.
See what you need to know to navigate this loan labyrinth.
It's been rainy all day long, and it's still raining right now, but we're seeing this low that's centered right over our area gradually move off to the east. When it finally gets out of here, and when we'll see that dry weather off to the west replace it.
New tonight, the finishing touches are being put on the Sistine Chapel ahead of conclave. More than 100 cardinals will gather here to choose the next pope. Today, crews install the ceremonial chimney that will signal when the pope is chosen. The cardinals gathered for the second to last morning mass before conclave. The ceremony is set to begin on Wednesday. Tonight, China says it's looking into U.S. proposals to jumpstart trade talks. This signals a change in tone for the country. China has denied multiple claims from President Donald Trump, saying they were close to striking a trade deal. White House officials say any plan needs to put Americans first.
We need to have a trade relationship with China that does not do harm to our nation's economic and national security. And that has to be the guidepost of any objective. At the same time, tariffs will bring significant revenue into this country that will allow us to pursue our dramatic plan of tax cuts.
Beijing says any negotiations would require some preconditions to be met, namely for Trump's tariff hikes to be canceled. Right now, federal officials are investigating an incident at Reagan National Airport involving a Black Hawk helicopter. The chopper was flying near the D.C. airport, trying to land at the Pentagon. However, 2 commercial planes were forced to stay in the air for a longer time since the helicopter was in the area. Now, this comes, as you'll remember, after a commercial flight crashed into a Black Hawk helicopter at the same airport, killing 67 people. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is now demanding answers from the Pentagon.
Rain continues, no surprise. It rains every day around here. We actually have a statistic for it. We'll also talk about the exit of this rain and what tomorrow brings.
Well, starting Monday, the Education Department is restarting involuntary repayment of student federal loans, but there are maybe some confusion surrounding the collection process. Lily O'Shea Becker spoke with experts to clear up all the confusion. Here's her report.
If you're confused about the current state of federal student loans, just know you are not alone. I mean, take a look at how many notices pop up when I go to my student loan servicer's website. So I spoke with another student loan borrower and a professional so he could answer some of our questions.
Jeremy Clarkson is a local high school math teacher. He's also a student loan borrower.
And right now I'm trying to figure out, do I even own loans anymore, or is it like, you know, one site isn't reporting something accurately to the other?
There's 2 websites borrowers should get their information from, studentaid.gov and your loan servicer's website.
But like Jeremy said, there's a lot of different information going around.
Different flexibilities happening, different programs launching, Supreme Court rulings.
Landon Warmond is a certified student loan professional.
Typically, if there's something that's going to impact you directly, they will send you an email or a notice in the mail.
For instance, collections on defaulted student loans will resume on Monday. Either your loan servicer or the federal government should notify you if you've missed a payment for over 270 days. Additionally, court rulings have caused some confusion around income-driven repayment plans. If you're repaying under the SAVE plan, it's likely your payments are paused or in forbearance.
On the SAVE forbearance, we're kind of at the whim of our federal government right now on, when that's going to end.
Since Jeremy is a teacher, he's repaying through the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Plan. Conversations to change that plan are happening at the federal level.
I'd want to know, is this program in potential danger of anything?
Borman says for now, it looks like teachers and government employees would not be impacted by any changes to the Public Service Repayment Plan.
Warman advises to be patient. Don't get lost in any of the proposed changes, and wait to be notified if any changes will impact you.
Well, today was one soaker of a Saturday, and the rain just not letting up. Meteorologist Gary Frank joins us now with the weather impact forecast.
Yeah, good evening. We'll continue that rain right now for the next hour or two, at least in some cases. We'll get a little bit of a break, but the last 24 hours, we've continued to add on. At about 5 o'clock, we had just shy of half an inch, so we haven't gotten all that much more. Belleville areas in the Metro East have had a drastically different amount. St. Charles about a half an inch, and yes, we've had at least a trace of rain in the last 14 of 7 17 days in St. Louis. So, yeah, that's why it's been so wet. It's not just your imagination. It never stops raining. Right now, it never stops raining because we have this low, which is really cut off from the main flow, which I'll show you in a second. But you can see where all this rain started to spin around this. And now watch how it's starting to dive further south. That's optimistic that we're going to see things dry up a little bit. But like I said, you're talking about from Breeze to Carlisle, Oakville, New Minden, a lot more rain. Not as much once we cross the river, but still, it's still raining from Wildwood to DePere, Maystown. You'll see this from Festus as well. DeSoto, more of this moderate rain that continues. And let's find the back edge of this stuff. If you're on the other side of 44, that's where we continue to see at least a break right on the other side of 44. This is working its way out of here, but still, as we look at the arch, lights still off for the birds. It's 53 with a north breeze of 5 miles an hour. We got to 56 today, and 56 degrees as a high today is the 11th coldest high temperature on this date, with 45 being the lowest. So, yeah, it's a little abnormal. Still pretty chilly for this time of the year. We're going to be chilly overnight as well, and I don't think we're going to warm up all that much tomorrow either. But I do think that we're going to see that rain spin more into the Metro East once again. So if you're on the Illinois side, you're going to be dealing with rain again and cloud cover. I think there's more of a break on the Missouri side tomorrow, other than some light drizzle. I think that's what we're going to see the next few hours. You'll see that as temperatures fall by tomorrow morning. Like I said, all has to do with this spin here, but let's look at why. We have this cutoff low here, and this is the jet stream, and this is 15, 20,000 feet plus above the surface. And when you look at this here, you have this low, which Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, normally we see these storms and I talk about them, they move pretty quickly. But if you start to see days going above my head here and they're not moving, that tells you that it's really cut off. And this is also called omega block because it looks like the omega. And that's why you have this high behind it. There's really not much movement. There will be, but until then, we're going to continue to spin these showers here for Sunday. Like I said, even into the overnight hours on Monday, clouds are still around. So keep that in mind. I think we're probably going to see a sprinkle or two, but the next 7 days, there are going to be some at least better days. And I think if we're going to pick a day to mow, it might be Tuesday. That's about it. Otherwise, maybe by the end of the week, we'll start to see less rain, but it's going to rain again Wednesday to Thursday and still some drizzle tomorrow.
Keep that umbrella handy.
Oh, yeah.
Frank's here now with what's coming up in sports.
Well, we have it all coming up. John Gruden chatted with us, the best soundbite ever about Game 7 from Coach Montgomery. And what does 5 on Your Side reporter Corey Miller have in common with Simone Biles? We'll explain next. The two most important words in a marriage are yes, dear. The two greatest words in sports are Game 7. We will have one tomorrow night in Winnipeg with the Jets and Blues. The surprise of the series is the Blues defenseman. How about Philip Broberg working his magic for the first goal of the game? The Blues defensemen have a whopping 24 points in the series, the most in the NHL, and 10 of them by that man Cam Fowler, which is a playoff record for a Blues backliner in a single series.
It's been a point of emphasis for our group, and we have guys that can execute it. So I think when we're doing that and we're working as a 5-man unit, it's hard to defend, and a lot of it starts with the pressure that our forwards put on the puck in the offensive zone too, and it kind of helps us get into our set and try and get pucks to the net.
Another reason there's a Game 7 is because of the brilliance of Jordan Binnington. The bigger the game, the better he seems to be. Last night, sprawling all over the ice to extend the series. And here's my favorite soundbite summing up the magnitude of a Game 7.
It's what we've all dreamed of that are, in that organization, in that locker room together. These are the moments you don't think about winning Game 1 when you're playing in your basement or you're playing street hockey or you're playing knee hockey with your best friend or brother, whatever the case may be. It's Game 7, it's overtime. And it's about us seizing an opportunity. It's an opportunity that we've earned, and now we got to go seize it.
The best side story of the series is that John Gruden is now a die-hard Blues fan. The team sent him some gear, and he's all over social media cheering on the note. And he was in the house last night. I talked to him after the victory.
To have a chance to come back here, meet Coach Montgomery, and be a part of this run that we're on right now has really been a great experience for me.
And you'll stay with us the whole time, right?
I'll stay with the Blues until the end. And the end is nowhere in sight. I think it's exciting, and again, thanks for the hospitality. love St. Louis and go Blues.
Way to go, John. So who will the Blues be playing if they win tomorrow, you ask? The winner of Game 7 between the Avalanche and Dallas. The Stars trailed 2-0 in the third and staged a miraculous comeback. Wyatt Johnston will get the power play goal. The Stars advance with a 4-2 victory. Speaking of Game 7s, the Nuggets hosting the Clippers. Christian Brown, whose mom Lisa played at Mizzou, knocks down a three. He won state titles in high school, national titles in college, and a world championship with the Nuggets. And don't forget about Michael Porter Jr., who played 3 games at Mizzou. He threw it down. Denver moves on to play the Thunder after a 120-101 trouncing. The Cardinals were rained out today. They will play a doubleheader tomorrow against the Mets at 12:15 and at 5:15. Eric Fetty and Andre Palante will be the starters. Michael McGreevy has been promoted from Memphis. The Mets have beaten the Cardinals 9 straight times. The Stars came out to the Kentucky Derby. There's the great Simone Biles, Basketball Hall of Famer Carmelo Anthony, influencer and model Livy Dunn, and the pride of Freeburg, Illinois, 5 on your side's Corey Miller. That's why I'm here on a Saturday. Here's the stretch drive.
Down to the last 16th of a mile. Sovereignty has taken the lead. Journalism is second toward the inside. Valles is third, but it will be Sovereignty to rule the Kentucky Derby.
So, the second Kentucky Derby win for trainer Bill Mott and the first win for jockey Junior Alvarado. Serenity outdueled the 3-1 favorite Journalism. It paid almost $18. And right now, City is playing in Seattle, and that game is tied at 1 in the first half.
I just want to let you know that those Derby fans are loving every minute of that.
Yes, and wasn't Corey very stylish in his outfit?
He was.
Looking good.
Hanging out with the Stars. Gary's got a final look at the forecast.
Yeah, it's still going to rain overnight once again, but I do think it's done after 2. Mostly dry. It is going to be more dry Sunday than it was today. That's positive.
All right, that's 5 on your side at 10. Saturday Night Live is next. Start your day with Today in St. Louis, bright and early in the morning at 6 a.m. Have a great tomorrow, everyone.